Hello guys, this is Builder, and this is a video of my duel of me versus tommynt. As you can see, I started the video a little bit late, but you didn't really miss that much. I founded my city in place, and I started out with a monument and followed by a scout. As this is going to be a duel game with me versus Tommy, and I'll be honest with you, Tommy kind of outclasses me as a duel player. I have not played very many duels recently, so I'm out of shape, but even at my peak, probably wouldn't have been able, I definitely wouldn't have been able to go with Tommy, so this will be a be a very quick game, that's for sure. Let's see. I've found his capital. It looks like his capital is a lot nicer than mine. He has a couple of areas of deer, some forests to chop, a couple of hills. He's founded on a hill as well, which is very nice. You always want to have something like that. I'm going to go in with my start of, I'm going to start with monument, scout, granary, maybe a worker, some defense, and then a bunch of settlers. I'm putting in an early granary because I don't want to be making settlers before I get the additional settler production, because that would be a significant waste of hammers. As you can see, there are currently two faith wonders out in the middle there, which it probably would have been a good idea to go get. To be honest, like, faith wonders are very strong, or faith, the natural wonders are very strong. And Tommy's declared war. With these duels, there's kind of it's played a lot differently from normal games, because you only really have one opponent. You can play just very aggressively, because as long as you are killing your opponent, it doesn't really matter if your tech rate is in the ditch, whereas in a free-for-all game, you'd fall behind everyone else. So you can see Tommy takes a very aggressive approach once he finds my city, which I'm reluctant to do. I think that if I played a lot more duels, I'd be able to do this more confidently, where I march up to an enemy city and I just fortify on their tiles. He's fortified on one of my deer tiles, which is one of my better tiles, meaning that I have less production. And as you can see, once he sees my scout coming in, he runs away. He's also standing on another deer tile, which means that I'm not able, even if that I might have been able to buy that tile, but I'm not going to now because he's on it. So he's still even restricting my production then. I'm going to move my scout over to protect my worker so that I can improve my salt, because salt is one of the better resources in the game. The resource itself gives +1 food and +1 gold, and the mine, which is like normal luxuries, only provide 2 gold, so the additional food there is super nice, and then when you mine it, you get a food and a gold, so it's like you get twice for your tile improvement, which is pretty ridiculous. I'm going to try to sneak in on Tommy. I'm not quite sure why I put my warrior there. That didn't really make sense. If you ever see Tommy kind of jump around the map, it's because he's using double moves, where he moves at the end of one turn at the start of the next. It allows him to always kind of be in a safe position, and I'm going to try to surround his warrior here. Because I have a bunch of units, so hopefully I'll be able to do some damage there. So you can see he has another unit show up, and he just barely survives and manages to heal instantly. That was a pretty fast chain of events, so basically at the end of my turn I attacked, and then I attacked again with all of my units, and he just barely survived and was able to get a heal. And as he just came right back and attacked took out my scout, unfortunately. And I'm sneaking my settler out behind. I got scared off because my units seemed to be lower HP than his. I might have been able to get one of his warriors if I had played really quickly there, but he probably would have beaten me to it. Anyway, it's really bad that I lost that scout there, because now he just has more units around. Let's see. to pop out an archer. An archer will help me get some damage on his unit, so it's harder for him to just set up around tiles. Unfortunately, he's kind of pushed me back. As you can see, he's fortified those two warriors at a pretty defensive location. He's over a river and he's on some hills, which means that I will have a hard time breaking through that like defensive thing, and I'll just have to go around. And he has a scout also flanking. Meanwhile, he's just holding me off from other stuff. Which is bad. I mean, it's just nasty because he has units fortified around me, so it's harder for me to put cities where I want. I'm going to try to sneak a unit up and around. And so I have to fight to even get my cities out. And as you can see, he's already plopped a city down on top of the nearby Faith Wonder, Mount Kalisha, I think. And that actually claims him the other one behind it, because I'm not going to be able to found a city behind that first city. So he's got both the Faith Wonders, which is very problematic for long game, because you don't... Faith Wonders versus no Faith Wonders is really a tough gig. So I'm going to set up some moves here. I'm going to move my settler in. I'm going to plop a city down right there. It'll have a hill nearby. It'll be behind a river, so it's a little bit more defensible. I had to move a scout down to protect him from pillaging my salt. Found my city there because there's not really that much of a better spot. And then also, there's a problem here, is that I don't really have much space to expand upwards. I could put a city up higher, but he'd be far away from my capital. It would be hard for me to defend so many cities on the front. Just kind of bad. Get masonry. I'm working towards construction, because that's an important tech. I'm going to try to do some damage to the warrior at the top, because he's isolated from the warriors near to the bottom, and as the Tommy gets chased off, so I'm able to bombard one of his units before he gets away. So now I'm going to focus on the scout. I'm going to try to push the scout out of my territory so I can claim control of that area. Again, working up towards construction. I'm moving my worker up near the back so that I can uncover those tiles that I hadn't seen. He's running his scout away, which means he's getting away. Which is nice, because I don't want to have a scout roaming around, possibly taking a worker out of nowhere. So my next city, I'm going to try to found down below. I believe the city is Novgorod. A city that has Mount Kalisha, so I can claim the there you go. But the marble. In these maps, you want to use up all of your unique luxuries on your side of the map so that you can get the most happiness, so you can get the most cities possible. So I'm just chasing off the scout. I want to make sure the scout doesn't like double back. As you can see, he has a warrior set up there. So I'm going to try to slide some units down below him to be able to claim that tile before he can defend it himself, so that I can plop the city down. So I'm just moving my units in slowly. I'm trying to stay out of his sight line. I can see him, but he can't, because he is on a hill, which means that when somebody's on a hill, you can see him from 3 tiles away. whereas you can only normally see 2 tiles, so I can see him, but he cannot hopefully see me. But somehow Tommy gets a little psychic moment and slides his warrior down, actually preventing me from. And that's exactly his warriors was where I want to put a city. Really annoying. I'm gonna put up a mine on my whatchamacallit, my gold, which will increase my happiness. It's possible that in these duels it would be better just to spam cities and not even bother with happiness, because I want to be able to survive the short term. Anyway, I built a couple of archers in my expansion cities just to boost my army a little bit. Mine that. Building my camp because a camp gives production. You want to increase production as much as possible. And I'm keeping my warrior up there just to make sure he doesn't do anything sneaky with the scout. That's not really that efficient because the scout has cost him less production than the warrior does for me. But I don't really have another unit to put up there. So now I have a couple of archers in. I'm going to start sliding in. I'm going to try to push him off of that tile, just make it too hard for him to hold that area. As you can see, I've been moderately successful. He's starting to slide back. It's hard when you have warriors. He has just warriors and you have archers. I'm keeping the settler out of sight so he doesn't know it's there. I'll be able to move it in at the end of the turn if he pulls back. I'm keeping my warrior fortified in the patch of forest because it's rough terrain, which will give him defense bonus, and then obviously fortified just so he keeps the defensive bonus there. And as you can see, Tommy's starting to pull back, so I will slide in there, claim that tile, and end my turn. Tommy probably could have just shift moved that turn. Would have made it a little bit been more tricky with that. If you don't know what shift moving is, basically if you shift right click when you move, it makes it so that it queues up the move, so the computer will do it at the very end of the turn, which means that your opponent isn't able to react to the move. It's frowned upon a lot in no quitters. I think it actually is illegal in no quitters, the Steam group, so be careful. And a lot of people get angry if you do it because I've heard it makes it makes the game laggier. So if you're doing it, if you queue up a lot, move a lot of units, it'll make the game just lag a lot. It makes a lot of people angry. If you see there, he moved in at the end of the turn and was able to attack my archer. I had to pull back. He basically got free damage onto my archer there by double moving, which is obnoxious. That's the problem when somebody's faster than you in one of these games, is that they can just make moves like that and you can't really react. I was able to get some damage off onto him. However, it wasn't enough to kill him. Now he can heal up, whereas I will have to retreat. And as you can see, it left it so that I was able to upgrade 2 composite bow archers, but one of them is injured, so I want to heal him first, which actually makes it just my army weaker. So good move by him. I'm going to try to sneak in just really fast and take Novgorod, because I'm falling behind if I don't have the Faith Wonders. So hopefully I'm just going to try to push in really quickly and see what I can do, because I for sure am not going to win long term. So if you look, Tommy has significantly more cities than I do at this point, but he's not growing them. He just works the hammer tiles and just keeps them there, which is slightly different from what I'm used to doing. I spam a reasonable number of cities, but then I like to actually grow those cities. You saw there, Tommy actually ended up getting his own composite bowman, which is bad. At this point, I should be falling back. However, the game is probably ending. He's probably going to win late air anyway, so I might as well just stand around and bombard all the units I can for the heck of it. I was building Stonehenge because I guess I wanted to hit some of my own faith. But the thing is, like, he's getting more faith from his natural wonder anyway. He's getting more faith from the natural wonder anyway than I'm getting from the Stonehenge, and he stubbed me a bit earlier, so it's not like I'm going to beat him. So, I mean, it's not that much good wonder, especially when I'm about to be taken over by a huge army of warriors and composite bowmen. I'm going to try to get an insta-heal in there, but unfortunately he was too fast for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a granary in a couple of my cities, which probably isn't the best idea at this point. I should probably be just spamming army, because again, it's a duel. If he kills me, I'm dead, and, you know, then there's no point in being growing if you don't have the city anymore. But, you know, I like getting, early granaries are solid for getting production. However, you don't need the production. If you just want armies, you just build armies, you shouldn't be building granaries. I got my Stonehenge. Again, I'm building like a granary in all my cities. He has a bunch of cities. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities to my 4. I'm going to try to take the worker there at the end of the turn, but he moves it away. So I cancel my scout move. Tommy's been using a lot of chariot archers, which I think we talk about it later in the chat. However, I had not used chariot archers previously. However, they're actually pretty cost effective. They have a combat strength, range combat strength of about 10, which is 1 less than a composite bowman. I believe their melee strength is 6, I'm not sure on that, which is 6 versus 7, which is about maybe 20% less. Well, that's around it, it's 1/7 less. So whatever that fraction is. But they cost about 2/3 the cost of a composite bowman. I believe the cost is like 50 hammers to 37 or something. So they're pretty cost-effective, plus they move a lot faster than a composite bowman, which allows them to move in and attack in the same turn, and it allows them to escape from sticky situations, especially in open terrain, which is kind of where we're fighting right now. They can just move all over the place. It also allows them to move off for really far and then pillage and then move away really quickly. And now that pillaging heals you for 25 HP, that's basically, it gives them like bonus just healed HP randomly. I was just looking at the thing to check out his gold per turn. Let's see. Do some damage on the chariot. But he just moves out of the way and then just pillages a different tile and heals up a lot of the damage. I'm actually able to kill one of Tommy's units, which is quite an achievement. I don't know if that's the first unit I've killed the entire game, but it certainly is one of the few I've killed this game. With my tech, I'm just kind of going down the bottom half of the tech tree on more military-ish techs. Ideally, I'd probably be going for something like crossbows or something. Anyway. And you can see Tommy has a larger army, and that probably comes from me not investing all of my production into building units, building granaries and all my expansion cities. Again, it's a nice long-term production thing, but for this type of game, it's not as helpful. As you earlier in the turn, the Chariot Archer was actually able to move in 2 tiles, pillage, and move out 2 tiles, which is, it wasn't even a double. He didn't even have to double move to be able to pillage and get out for no damage, which is just, it's just really strong. I really like the Chariot Archer. After playing against Tommy, I realized it's a lot stronger unit than I gave it credit for. He's sieging down Smolensk, which is not good. Again, Tommy kind of outdoes me as a player, so I'm not too concerned that I'm losing to him. I haven't played very many duels, but yeah. As for just tactics that I need to figure out more, early game, I need to be able to take more control of the map. You can see he was able to march in just 1 warrior, and I wasn't able to kill him with my 2 warriors and a scout. I mean, he showed up with another warrior, and he's actually got out, killing one of my scouts without losing any of his units. And the way he was able to do that was, whenever we were entering combat, I was attacking him because he was fortified. And the reason I had to attack him was because he was controlling my side of the map. So, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I've been thinking about this. I'm not sure how I want to counter that. I mean, I can either try to set up my own defensive units on my tiles, but that means that I can't scout his land, which puts me at a disadvantage because I don't know what his land is like. Or I can just send my units over to his land and try to block up his tiles, so that he's blocking up my tiles and I'm blocking up his tiles. Which is another interesting thing. It's a little bit scary because he can move faster than I can, so I feel like he could sneak in a bunch of units and take out my units, but it's probably a good way to... I'll both be able to scout his land and be able to block off his tiles. Because as you can see in here, he was able to block me off for the first... it wasn't even like, he didn't ever even take any units, but he forced me to send my settler backwards, my first settler backwards. If I would have been able to send my first settler forwards, I would have been able to claim Mount Kalisha in the middle, which, although, to be honest, he also had a Faith Wonder himself, which I don't know which that one is called, but it was, he has the 8 Faith Natural Wonder nearby to him, and I have the 6 Faith Wonder nearby, and more in the middle, which he still would have been getting more Faith, but it certainly would have been, you know, a better, it would have been better for me to have more map control. Tommy's kind of right. This map, I was kind of screwed. I just have no space. But he got screwed over with kind of the 2 hills on his side, and also he just has more hills in general on his side, which equate to production. Basically, not quite as much on plains maps, but in general, hill tiles are the production tiles. The amount of hill tiles is just how much production you get from your empire. Because the hill tile gives you twice the production of a plains tile, and there's no way you can improve the productivity of a plains tile unless it has a resource like a horse or a deer on it. But you can mine a hill tile, which means that you can get 3 hammers from any hill tile, whereas you can only get 1 hammer maximum from a plains tile. 1 hammer from a plains tile, assuming it doesn't have a horse, but there are only a couple of horse tiles on my side of the map. Also kind of annoying on my side, I only have a couple of luxuries, which wouldn't matter as much if I didn't care about happiness, but in this game I care a little bit more about happiness than Tommy does, because as you can see, he's built like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cities, maybe 10, 11 cities. And he's, you know, anyway. I kind of said Tommy's beliefs were bad. I still don't quite understand why he took the +2 faith for World Wonder belief. That doesn't seem to make any sense to me. The +2 gold for each city is nice, because it'll give him gold per turn to be able to stay out of negative, hopefully, if this game were able to go on longer. However, if I were him, I would have considered the +1 happiness per city, but if he's not going to grow his cities, I guess it doesn't really matter that much. He says that the, again, I haven't played many Civ player style duels. He says that the +100 gold for a converted city is banned. I can see it would just give you a large bonus immediately, which would be annoying to deal with. I can understand that. However, we didn't ban it this game, but maybe he just felt honor bound not to stomp me that bad. Let's see what else can I talk about this game. So in this game, I mean, it certainly shows I still have ways I can get better as a player. I mean, there's certainly people who are able to outduel me for sure, and outplay me just in general. Built up a couple of composite bowmen to see if I'll be able to do some damage around Yaroslavl. Yeah, I still don't understand the +2 faith for World Wonder belief, but, you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter at this point in the game. It's again, with his chariot archers, he can move them very quickly and bombard me when I can't respond, and that just puts him ahead in trade, which is, it shows how strong kind of the chariot archers can be. It wasn't even again, it wasn't even a double move that allowed him to do that. He just moved in and bombarded me and did a bunch of damage. And then in the following turn, he did double move and do a bunch of damage again, but the first turn put me behind already. So we're just going to play this one out. Out to the end. I won't leave. So you can see my cities are growing again, which is nice. However, it's not really that helpful. If you compare the production of a 3 population city versus the production of 3 1 population cities, the 3 1 population cities are going to outdo it every day, because Yaroslavl only has 1 hill to work, which means it has a maximum of basically 3 production plus 1 for every other citizen, whereas a 1 population city founded on hills next to hills is going to give it 2 population for the city tile because it's on a hill, plus 1 for Republic, which you basically are going to have really early, because you have to take it to get the free settler in Liberty. And then it's going to have 2 or 3 extra production for the next hill, depending on whether you've mined it or not, which adds up to 6 production. So, I mean, and that's the majority of Tommy's cities, which means he's going to have ridiculously higher production than I will. We had a nice little reload there. Not quite sure why. I don't know, I'm building a road between my cities. I almost killed one of his warriors. I'm not able to kill him, though. As you can see, he just kind of has a wall of units, which I can't really deal with. Because he isn't losing units, but I'm losing units, so his army's constantly getting bigger, and mine's constantly shrinking. I don't think I've ever had more than 3 composite bowmen at a time, because I just lose them as fast as I make them. Which is sad. He's starting to attack Yaroslavl. And again, I probably shouldn't be building a water mill in Yaroslavl, but you know, whatever. Just playing the game out to the end. I believe that Tommy's he went into very unhappiness for a couple of turns, but he just decides he'll just raise the city so he doesn't go into very unhappy. My citizens, on the other hand, are very happy, because I've gotten rid of all those pesky other cities which don't have a luxury. I mean, who needs those other cities anyway? But, you know, I'm holding out to the end. I'll put my arc in that city, and I will defend it, gosh darn it. After I build my library, so I can throw books at the invaders. That'll be sure to stop them. I'm just building a road to nowhere. I don't have any other cities. Build a road too. I mean, I guess I could build it upwards, but you know, that city's way too far away. He has a great general. Tauntingly, he puts it on his front lines, just to show me how I can't kill it. And was able to pillage and then attack. Reached a lot of movement points. And as you can see there, he was able to move in very quickly with his chariot archers, which allowed him to take up my composite bowmen, whereas if he had just had composite bowmen, he would not have been able to do that. So kudos to him for building tons and tons of chariots. Also, because we're Russia, we're getting double strategic resources. Just in case you didn't notice, we're both playing Russia, which gets double strategic resources. So we're getting double horse resources. So just from the 1 4-horse tile, you're getting 8, which is plenty to take me over. He's moving in a bunch of units. It'll be 1 or 2 turns before he has St. Petersburg, my capital, down to red. And duels apparently, this is basically the only legit strat you can do, because if you don't commit to all that war in ancient era, your opponent will, and they'll be able to beat you, and then you either have to commit to all out war as well to stop him, or, you know, or die. Commit or die. Oh, am I going to stop the recording too quickly? Oh no, he just took down the city really quickly. I was thinking the recording was ending soon, but it turns out that I'm dying really soon. So, so that'll be all, you guys. Thanks for watching.